Bring the Monday, April 6, 2026 Township of Hamilton Committee meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by transmitting notice of this meeting to the Press of Atlantic City, Star Ledger, and Atlantic County Record on January 6, 2026. Mr. Aiken?
Here.
Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Patzali?
Here. We have a moment of silence for private reflection. Thank you. Proclamations. We have a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Deputy Mayor?
Yes. This is a proclamation, whereas public safety telecommunication mediators are the first and most critical point of contact for the citizens seeking emergency assistance. Oh, sorry. All right. Whereas those highly trained and professionals serve as the vital link between the public and emergency responders, including law enforcement, fire services, and emergency medical personnel. And whereas communicators demonstrate extraordinary dedication, skill, compromise while managing high stress and often life-threatening situations, providing a calm reassurance and life-saving instructions to those in need. And whereas public safety communicators work around the clock, providing an essential behind-the-scene link to the safety, security, and well-being of our community. And whereas it is both fitting and proper to recognize the commitment, professionalism, and the invaluable service provided by these men and women. Now, therefore, we, the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton, Atlantic County, State of New Jersey, on this day do hereby recognize April 12 through April 18, 2026 as National Public Safety Communicators Week. Thank you. No? Well, thank you, everyone, very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you good?
Okay, guest presentations, we have none. Addition, deletion of late agenda items to be considered for action tonight. We have an addition, 9G, resolution to appoint Brooke Sedan as an as-needed hourly employee at a rate of $25 per hour, not to exceed 25 hours per week, effective April 7th, 2026 through June 30th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Gents, ayes have it. Early public comment.
We have Frank Roby for the budget. Frank Roby, 309 Farragut Avenue. Obviously, I haven't seen your budget yet, but I'm just here to encourage you to keep it down. The economy's not the best, except if you're a billionaire, it might be better for them. ACA has much higher rates now. Mine doubled. South Jersey Gas, Atlantic City Electric, rents, housing, all of it. We're at war. So do your best. Thank you.
Hear you, for sure. Thanks, Frank.
Christopher Gray for the budget.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of council. My name is Christopher Gray. Address is 2057 Briggs Road, Mount Laurel Township. I am the attorney that represents your PBA Local 77 police officers. Earlier today, you should have received a letter from us kind of detailing why we're here and what is going on. And I can tell you that the reason that we're here before you tonight is because your officers care. Because your officers want to work out a contract that's fair for both the township, the taxpayers, and your officers. All these years have gone by with record inflation, and the current PBA contract has not kept track with that. We've gotten to the point where our contract positions between where the township is and where the PBA is down to $100,000 over 4 years. And the reason that the PBA needed to make those changes to get the contract where it is to prevent some of your officers from essentially losing money that they would have made had the current contract continued. So we went through and provided you information about where our proposal costs, where your township proposal costs, what the differences are. We also went through and figured out the differences if we were to go to interest arbitration. The PBA didn't want to do that. And we didn't want to have to do that because we were hoping that in every other regard that we've had with this council, we've been able to work stuff out and resolve it. I know I sat here probably 2 years ago when several officers were facing charges and township did the right thing and kept them in pay status. And we appreciated that. I think we didn't even say a word that night. We were able to work it out, and we've had a good rapport ever since. That's why before filing, the body met and decided we wanted to come here and bring this back to you to see if there's a way that we can get a deal done on this to get us to the position where we can get a contract in place. We're talking about 4 years and $100,000. So $25,000 a year is how far apart we are. But that $25,000 makes all the difference to some of your officers. We want to be able to recruit. We want to be able to retain. We want to be able to be competitive. Public safety is important. We understand you value your police officers. We understand that the public, when those dispatchers are getting calls, they're sending out these officers. They're the ones that are going out on harm's way. They're the ones that are taking care of all the residents here. We tried to broach this and asked to do it in closed session because we thought negotiations could take place in such a format. We were told that the preference was for us to bring it here. So we sent you the letter detailing all the financial conditions of it. I sent you all the Excel sheets showing all the cost outs and the differences. And over a $16 million deal to let $100,000, break this and force us to go to interest arbitration, we didn't think it was worth it. We thought coming here at least one time, trying this beforehand. We also wanted to bring to the council's attention just what happened with the Atlantic County prosecutors investigators. Their contract settled in interest arbitration, and if you apply that settlement to your officers, it's going to cost this town over $400,000, well, about $380,000 more than where the township's currently at. If it settled at 2.5% across the board, which is where most of the interest arbitration decisions are, that would cost the town $70,000 more than where the PBA is at right now. So seeing the grand scope of the deal and the work that went into this, we had all the other terms done, and we just got hung up on some salaries that really punished members. And those members will probably talk later during the open public session to let you know the impact that it has on them and why the PBA had to fix the proposal that was done. So we hope that you will take a hard look at this. We really want to work this out and not have to go through those processes. It's going to cost both parties more than what the difference is. And we hope that you'll take a look. We gave you everything we had, every piece of information, the Excel sheets, how we did the numbers, just to show you. We asked for that from your staff, and they couldn't send us their cost outs, so we gave you everything we had. So it's not normal for me to normally send all the Excel sheets of all the different cost out versions and all the different comparisons showing you. This is a good deal. And we don't want to lose this deal and put this in the hands of an interest arbitrator who can tell both of us what it's going to be and how much it's going to cost. So hopefully we can get this done, get back to the table, and prevent interest arbitration from having to occur. So we thank you. I'm sure later some members will talk about how they're personally affected and why these changes had to be made and why the $100,000 difference exists. We did not want you to lose officers. We did not want people to leave. We wanted to keep them here. We wanted to fix your bottom steps to be more competitive. We wanted to give you a competitive salary guide. We wanted to do these things to fix things and to make this place attractive for new officers and to be able to retain the ones you have and also keep a good morale here. So we know you've listened to us through the years. That's why we're here. Most times we'll just file a petition, but we wanted to give you a chance to make this work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Moving on, discussion. Guidelines and criteria for proclamation requests, establishing a proclamation subcommittee. This was something that's been getting bounced around for several weeks now, actually almost into last year. Talking with our solicitor, he kind of guided us and said the best route here is to create a subcommittee for proclamations so that they can be reviewed, gone over, and then sent to the whole committee for that proclamation to move forward. So I would just like to move forward with that proclamation subcommittee.
Are you asking us, can we speak?
Yes.
Yeah, so who is on the committee? Are you appointing?
Yes,
Okay.
I would appoint, at our solicitor's suggestion, it would be 2 members from committee, our administrator, and if need be, if we do need any guidance, then we would have a discussion with our solicitor as needed.
Well, I since this is something that just came sprung on me. I think it's interesting that you would create a subcommittee to tell the committee whether a proclamation of their choosing is worthy to be given out to that person, team, or organization. I think you're trying to take our rights from us. I think you should name one city that does this. I don't think there's one that you can name, so I think this is very disrespectful. My thing is I might not know every 27,000 plus constituent personally, but I represent every last one of them. And if someone in this township I feel measures up to deserving proclamation, then as an elected official, I have the right to give them one, and you have the right not to sign it. So I don't agree with creating a subcommittee. I mean, we couldn't even agree to create a subcommittee for the rent control for the quality of life for our people. So now we're going to create a subcommittee on this agenda?
Well, I think for one member of committee to say that they want to give a proclamation to somebody, I think it should be discussed beforehand to kind of go over and see if that person, just do a little investigation and see if everything, if that person deserves it. Because to give a proclamation from committee, if not all 5 members of committee are signing it, that it's not really a proclamation from committee. And at any time, any member up here can write a letter congratulating a singular person, a team, anything, or anything that they do. So I'm just trying to create a way, a path, so that there's no, I don't know what the proper word would be, aggravation or indecision by somebody else sitting up here that they feel they don't want to sign that proclamation. And this is just a way to kind of give it a little bit of control. And also, I want to keep the proclamation. Proclamation should be special. And if we keep doing proclamation after proclamation, they're not going to be as special anymore.
So my understanding then was that we were going to limit the proclamations, which I don't have a problem with. We can limit the proclamations to one per meeting, but I don't agree with an outside subcommittee telling us whether a proclamation is worthy of the person that we choose to honor, because somebody else on the dais has a personal problem with them. Because I think that we're smart enough and we're representing and we're voting in to pick someone that we've already vetted to feel like they're deserving of that proclamation. So if you want to limit the amount of proclamations, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I guess the only thing I have to input on that is, if you guys do decide to limit the amount of proclamations, you're putting that, I guess you're essentially putting that burden on me, right? So if we get a certain amount of proclamations, requests come in, then it would become up to me who gets on the agenda, who doesn't get on the agenda. And I don't know who's being honored. I just get the requests, I read the bios, and then, you know, if I get 3 of them, so it's like who gets bumped, who doesn't get bumped, if we get 3, do I do all 3 at the meeting? The worst thing that could happen is not everyone on committee, you do a proclamation and not everyone signs it. So
yeah, but my thing is, this is what I'm saying. If we have an understanding right now that we're going to do one proclamation per meeting, and we understand that right now, then we would know not to go forward with so many proclamations for that certain meeting because we already have an understanding. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're smart enough to have an understanding to know that and respect each other's proclamation if we have that understanding.
Well, part of the discussion is coming up with that understanding, because right now there's no understanding. We need to discuss it. Even if you guys just decide not to do a subcommittee, we need to discuss if that's what you want to do. Because right now, Carl suggested one a meeting, but that doesn't mean that's what we're going to do, because he's only one member of committee. So we just need a consensus of committee how you guys want to handle proclamations. It's not just up to Carl. He brought it here. It's up to all 5 of you.
He brought it here, but then there's a whole resolution sitting in front of me. I mean, with a number and everything. So I'm just saying.
Well, we have to have some type of guidance on who gets a proclamation.
So conversation was that, well, what do you mean guidance on who should get a proclamation? The point is, if a committee person puts up a person of their choice, it's not going to be for somebody else to say, oh, no, you chose that person and I don't like that person, so we're not doing it. What I'm saying is, my understanding is that you're saying there's too many proclamations. You know, you feel like this, we're just honoring too many people, we're just doing too much for the people. So basically, if we limit it to one proclamation per township meeting, or however you want to limit it to, but I don't think somebody should come in and control us and tell us what we should do for the people.
I don't think we're trying to, so we're just trying to, if you're going to limit it to one, my question is, how do you get to the one? Is it first come, first serve?
Yeah, what if all 5 members?
That's my question. If you want to do 3, that's fine with me. How do you get?
I'm just saying, respectfully, if the mayor puts in one before me, I don't get mine in time, then I know I have to wait. It's just a matter of respect. And then I know I have to wait. It's no control. We don't need to control or have people of the mayor's choice come in with the subcommittee and all. It's not even necessary.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily one person sitting up here can decide, should be able to decide who gets a proclamation.
You're
It should
right.
be all five
Exactly.
should agree to it. So I think you have to have some kind of a committee to look at it first and then move forward from there.
I don't think so.
Maybe that committee can look at it and say, hey, could we have a little bit more information about this person? More of a bio from them, stuff like that.
And back to what I said, what is your reference? What other city does this? What is your reference?
I don't have a reference.
Right, that's my point. So I don't think that this is like a control thing to me. To me, this is a control situation. And I'm not agreeing with it. I'm saying to you, if it's this, if you're saying one thing, and then you're saying, we should water it, we shouldn't water it down, so limit the proclamations, then I'm trying to agree with that situation. That's what I'm saying.
So can I ask, so if a proclamation comes in and two committee persons don't like the person, not don't like the person, but would rather not sign off on that proclamation, does that proclamation still go through to that person?
It should. I mean, you gotta you need to own why you don't want to sign for that personal proclamation. You shouldn't limit why I, as a committee woman, wants to honor someone. If you have a personal problem or you have different issues why you don't want to sign that proclamation, then you own it. But you shouldn't limit me from honoring a constituent because I feel they fit the criteria to be honored. I mean, that doesn't even, I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't feel you're being limited by this. Like I said, a subcommittee, and I'm not for or against yet, I'm just saying a subcommittee would look at the committee person's proclamations that's put forward, do some research on that person to see if it's, a person that should be brought to committee to be put on a proclamation.
And to me, that's a form of
But
control. I
Well,
just think that you got outside citizens that's trying to tell a committee person who they should honor, who they shouldn't honor. And I don't think that's fair.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Does the subcommittee make the recommendation to committee?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, okay.
Because it's a proclamation from the Township of Hamilton.
Yeah,
So if not everybody up here on the dais agrees to it, then I don't think they should get the proclamation.
Let me ask you a question. Can a committee person by themselves give a proclamation?
Yes, well, not a proclamation. You can write a letter of congratulations.
Right.
I sent 2 of them out last week.
That's good. That's nice.
Any other questions or comments?
We're not, whoever the subcommittee that you choose to be on this committee, Mayor, we're not making a decision to eliminate. It's just to get more information and then bring it before the full committee. Is that it?
Discussion. The way it's written now is that any proclamation request would go in front of the subcommittee.
Okay.
And that proclamation request would only be placed on the agenda if the subcommittee unanimously recommended to Township Committee.
Okay.
The alternative is that all proclamations could come in front of Township Committee, and then you could vote on or address it on the public. There's only 2 members on a subcommittee because of OPMA and the fact that everything would have to be in the public if there's a majority of the board review a decision.
So after the subcommittee decides, it comes before the full committee.
Not for a vote, it would come in front of, just as the proclamation would today. There's typically no vote under the current procedures that you're implementing. There's no vote on proclamations, just like we had one this evening. There was no votes beforehand.
Right.
You could implement a rule where you all voted on and discussed it before issuing a proclamation. You could vote either for or against at the meetings, a prior meeting, or you could establish a subcommittee to do it this way, which is what we're putting in front of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
I think it should be that the subcommittee makes a recommendation to us. And then we, as committee, 5 of us, yay or nay. If the subcommittee turns around and says, yeah, they should get a proclamation, at least we should have a little bit of say, like, okay, I agree, or no, I don't agree. But yet, after that, then we move forward.
And it still comes back in front of the committee. So what if we have three of them say, oh, well, you whispered to this person and said, oh, I don't like this person, so don't vote. Like, it's still being controlled by outside sources or being controlled by the committee when it's not even set up like that. It's not even set up like that. It's like we're taking control out of what we think is on our mind or what we feel the criteria are for a person that we feel we should honor and just giving it away. I just feel like that's not fair. If you have somebody, Mr. Mayor, I respect you enough to believe that that person that you feel like should get this proclamation should get the proclamation. I'm not going to, say, oh, they didn't check off all these boxes and this and that and the other. No, because you felt that person was deserving based on your criteria that you put in.
Do you agree with the draft?
No. Because he's saying the draft is saying that the solicitor, Mr. Solicitor, is saying that the draft is saying that they make the recommendation.
No, I'm talking about the draft on the last page of the criteria. Do you agree with the draft? On the last page of 3A.
On 3A.
It starts off, both members of the subcommittee must approve a request form for a township proclamation to be presented. That right, the first sentence, I can't even get past that.
For history recognitions, like Women's History, Black History Month, whatever.
It says for history. Okay, I agree with that.
Okay.
That's fine.
The honor an athlete or sports team, but they have won a championship or a tournament.
I do agree with that.
You do agree with that?
Yes.
Historical preservation proclamations will be approved and signed by the Township Committee, but shall be presented at a regular scheduled HPC meeting.
I agree with that.
All right. So, and then do you agree in lieu of proclamations, any member of the committee may write a letter of congratulations on their individual behalf?
Yes, I do agree with that. And I think that's something that should be amongst us as the committee, not to go to a subcommittee and then have them come back and say, oh, well, this is worthy and it's not worthy. So I can adhere to the last four.
So you feel that any member up here, if they say we want to have a proclamation for somebody, we should all just agree to it?
No, I said you got the right to sign it or not to sign it. That's your right. What I'm saying is that
like I said,
I don't think we need a subcommittee to tell us that we're not entitled to give out that proclamation based on whatever criteria they feel, the person has or doesn't have. That's what I'm saying.
But I think a proclamation from the Township of Hamilton should be agreed upon by all 5 members.
It should. You're right. But I'm just saying that I don't think we need a subcommittee.
So who would approve it?
So basically, you're just saying, all you're saying to me is there might be a situation where one of us put up a proclamation and none of us, and maybe one don't sign it. So you feel like that's not right. That's basically what I'm hearing you say. And I'm saying if you choose not to sign it, then you own it. You own your reason why you don't want to sign it. But why should we not give out the proclamation? Like, I'm not even, it's not even adding up to me.
But it's not a proclamation from the entire Township Committee if everybody doesn't sign.
I've seen the proclamation where.
Okay. But it's not proper.
It's not right. That's what y'all should say then. You're saying that's not proper. Okay, you can.
It's not proper.
All right, but I'm just saying that this is a form of control. This is a form of control. I don't think this is the way a subcommittee should use. And I'm back to me asking for a subcommittee for conversations on the quality of life for our people, and you guys denied that. So I'm just not agreeing. And I told you I agree with the last four, but I'm not agreeing with this.
But it's coming with the assumption that we're not going to agree with the proclamation. That's what I'm hearing. That the subcommittee is not going to agree. So who's saying we're not going to agree with the proclamation?
It's coming with the assumption that all of the committee people are not going to agree on somebody's proclamation. That's what it's coming with, too.
Okay.
I just think that there needs to be some type of guidance behind the scenes to look over a request for a proclamation, to go over the information, to see if that person meets the quasi criteria that's kind of created. And it's hard to write criteria to meet because there's so many different reasons why you would give a proclamation. It's really hard to put everything in writing. It's kind of vague. But I also think that we need to have some mechanism to introduce a proclamation, to get a proclamation onto the agenda. As Brett said, otherwise, all five of us could be saying, hey, this meeting, I want this proclamation. We end up with 5 proclamations.
And I just told you that I don't have a problem with us limiting the proclamations. Like you're saying something that I just told you that I don't have a problem with. So you're just saying it.
So we'll leave it. You think we should just leave proclamations up to Brett, and Brett should just automatically put them on the agenda?
No, I think that as 4 out of 5 that I said I'll agree to, I think that amongst us committee, the 5 committee, if we adhere to what's typed out here on this draft, and amongst us, we have a criteria, then that's what we should do. And that we should, and then we should agree on limited to once a month or twice a month for the meetings, however. I don't have a problem with that.
But the way we were signing on before, was it legal?
There's no guidelines as of right now that would preclude you from doing the way you're doing the proclamation. This would make it a little bit more specific and uniform.
Right? I mean, before we had a form that we were signing off on before the proclamation. We were all signing it. We were reviewing it and signing it.
So there can't be any votes of the majority outside of public session based on OPMA. So that's the point of the subcommittee. So the 5 members could not meet and discuss something until
Even if it's just a form, you're not meeting, you're still signing a form saying, I agree to this. And that's a no-no. We can't do that.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no. And that's the purpose of the subcommittee.
That is nowhere else in Atlantic County.
Excuse me?
I said it's nowhere else. There's no other city in Atlantic County that has this. That's what I said.
We're going to be trailblazers.
Well,
That's a control situation.
you need to move. Point of order.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Me.
Carried. Okay. I'm sorry.
subcommittee has been formed. Are you going to?
Yes. It'll be me and Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you.
Okay. Discussions. Budzuka Dispensary LLC presentation, resolution, and redevelopment agreement.
Good evening. Before our applicant gives his presentation, I just want to give a little overview for committee, for those of you who were not on committee when this project first began. The applicant, Bazooka Dispensary AC LLC, responded to an RFP for a Class 5 retail cannabis license. They received a resolution of support from committee. They entered into an escrow agreement with the township, and through that, they came back to committee with a request for a site-specific redevelopment plan. Committee agreed to that. The redevelopment plan was adopted, and since that time, a redevelopment agreement has been negotiated. Casa Verde Dispensary LLC was the initial entity, but there was a provision in the escrow agreement to allow an assignment. Now, the assignment is really name only. The entity is still formed by the same exact ownership, and that structure has not changed. It's just they're doing business as Bazooka. So this evening, as part of the redevelopment process, before the redevelopment agreement is going to be authorized by committee, the redeveloper is here to do his presentation, to explain to committee what the project entails, to briefly review what the site plan will look like. They are required to go back to the planning board for a full site plan approval pursuant to the municipal land use law. And the planning board has full purview over that pursuant to the redevelopment plan and any aspects of the underlying zoning that still apply. And then after the site plan approval, that's when they would be able to begin their construction. So this evening, they're here to get approval as part of the resolution that is here for consideration. There is mention of as part of the redevelopment agreement, there is mention of a second resolution of support, and that is not required, and I apologize for having that in there. That was part of a draft, and I did not remove it. So that will be removed before execution. So that is the fourth to the last whereas clause before Article 1 on page 2 of the redevelopment agreement. So it says by way of resolution number 2026, and there's a blank, received a letter of municipal support, and that is not required.
Okay.
So that's going to be removed.
Page 2.
Page 2, and if you count up from the now therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah. By way of resolution, and there's a blank there. So that clause does not need to be included. And I wanted to bring that to your attention before you take a vote on the resolution and the agreement. Do you have any questions on that? No. So we can turn it over to Mr.
Turn it over.
Good evening. My name is Lou Magazoo, and I represent the applicant. And I thank, first of all, council for her terrific efforts through this, as well as Mr. Knoll and Mr. Goodman, who are not here. It's been really a long but very thorough process. When we first began, and some of you may recall, this was the binder that we submitted for review. What I'm going to do tonight, with your permission, is condense that into about 3 minutes of an overview, because there are some members who were not part of the original presentation. If I may, Mayor and members, I represent. It was originally Casa Verde Dispensary LLC, now Bazooka Dispensary LLC. The reason for the name change is, since we've been here, we've actually opened up a store in North Jersey with that name, and we're developing a reputation as a brand. So that's why we made that name change. As council indicated, we did a 38-page application, which in response to an RFP, and were chosen as a consequence of that. Part of the reasons, I think, was the proficiency that we showed, and again, this is in detail, the proficiency we showed in this area. We also, in addition to Mr. Tunador, who's here, we also have Matt Markovich, who was a resident of Ventnor in Atlantic County with 20 years experience in real estate acquisitions. Mr. Tunador and his family have been involved in, have over 50 years of experience working in legal retail cannabis markets in Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Massachusetts, Michigan, and Nevada. And although cannabis has only been legal in those states for about 10 years, because they've been many of them, that's why I say cumulatively about 50 years. We've done the research to obtain approval from the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. We've invested in technology. We've invested in security. We are 95% Latino-owned WMBE as approved by the state of New Jersey. We have a team that has worked in cannabis throughout the state. Some of those folks, actually Jay Shula, who works in this county, is our engineer. We have a security expert that has prior experience in this area, and I've done about 24 of these applications. As I said, since we first applied to Hamilton Township, the Tindor family has successfully launched a retail sales store in Elizabeth, New Jersey, since January 25th, 2025, and operating successfully in full compliance with all local and state laws. We also have a security plan and financial plan that will have to be approved by the state Cannabis Regulatory Commission. What I'd also like to do is show you some pictures, about 5 slides. And by the way, I think we will need a resolution acknowledging the name change because we did, when we go up to CRC approval, we'll need a resolution that will say that the Township Committee does acknowledge that.
So in the resolution for approval this evening, Mr. Magazoo, there is a statement that the township designated Casa Verde or its assignee, and Casa Verde has assigned its rights to the property, and the Township Committee has negotiated the agreement with Bazooka.
No, I appreciate that, but I think we may need also a standalone resolution just to indicate the support of the Township Committee for this application, just for the CRC purposes, not for the redevelopment purposes. And it doesn't have to be tonight. We can do that as we move forward.
I do have a question, Mr. Magazine.
I'm sorry?
I do have a question, Mr.
Yes,
Magazine.
yes, Committeewoman.
In the agreement, page 2, they're referencing both names.
Yeah, I did that as the executive summary to indicate that we started as Casa Verde, but we're now going to be known as Bazooka. And if I may, I'll just go through the couple of slides here. May I?
Is that clear for you, the response?
Not really, but
well,
I'm going to get it. I'll get it.
Okay.
I'm going to watch the slides.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is I was looking for it just to say Bazooka and not both, because it looks like it's both.
Then I apologize for that confusion from my writing. I tried to make it clear, and maybe I didn't, that we started out, the application was Casa Verde. Since that time, in March of this year, we changed the name to Bazooka. So what I tried to do in the executive summary is indicate that Casa Verde and Bazooka are the same entity, and this is just a name change. There's no change as to the principles.
I got that.
Okay. But I apologize.
You're talking about the redevelopment agreement itself and not
Correct.
the executive summary. So I'll explain when Mr. Magazoo's finished.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So this just is indicate that we're in a proper zone, which is an important point, both in terms of the township and the state. They want to know that you don't need to get variances, and this area is zoned for retail cannabis. And this is just, and what I'm trying to do is give you in a couple of minutes what the planning board is going to get significant testimony on. This is what the area is going to look like, what the site plan is going to look like. This has, by the way, been extensively reviewed by your professional staff, by your engineers for approval with respect to the amount of parking, the egress and ingress of vehicles. And so this will be, frankly, the first template, but there'll be much greater detail what the planning board is going to see. This is where the building was. This is where we're going to go. You're probably familiar with this restaurant, or at least was a restaurant once. It's a burned out husk of a building now. And this is what it's going to be replaced with. Very attractive, good curb appeal with respect to the 323. This is the interior. Some folks of a certain age may have a certain recollection of what these type of places may look like. They look a lot more like going into a AT&T store or iPhone store or a Comcast store in terms of customer service. And you see the quality of the interior. There's also, by the way, and a security, CRC requires that ID is presented, there'd be a security person that before anyone comes in to make sure that they are of sufficient age. What I just wanted to do was to give you a flavor of what we're presenting to kind of match and supplement what we're doing with the redevelopment agreement, because I recognize that this is cannabis. I recognize that there are different members of the committee that weren't here previously, and I wanted to at least give some background in that regard. And I tried to do it as briefly as possible. But I am available for any questions.
Any questions, anybody?
I don't have a question, but in this agreement, on page 2, 3, and 4, and 5, all the way to 5, it is presenting both, is what I'm saying. It's not presenting just bazooka.
You mean just in this book?
Yes.
This is just the executive summary. This isn't our
In the book.
agreement. Yeah, that's not our agreement.
Yeah, that's not the agreement.
Correct?
The redevelopment agreement itself, but the redevelopment agreement does mention
Okay.
that it is by and between Bazooka Dispensary AC LLC as Assini of Casa Verde Dispensary. And the reason for that is to ensure that if there are any questions about how Bazooka got here, we have a redevelopment process that we have to follow. And so Casa Verde is the entity that started that process by name.
Right.
Bazooka is the same entity. The formation of the entity is the same people. They're just changing the name, but we're dealing with the exact same people. And so I wanted to be clear in the redevelopment agreement and the recitals for that, so that everyone who's looking at that understands we went through the correct process, that we didn't skip any of the steps that are required under the law, the code for the township, and that somebody can trace back the steps that we took and make sure that there are no questions for committee at some point in time. Why is Bazooka here and Casa Verde is the one who got the support, or Casa Verde is the entity that submitted the response to the RFP. And so that's why in the redevelopment agreement, we mentioned both entities, and I mentioned that they were assigned and that the committee is aware of the assignment and it does not object to the assignment.
I don't object to the assignment. I
Yeah.
don't object to the new name. I just,
You want to make sure that we're clear, and it's
Correct.
just for the history of it. And then if you look at let's see what number it would be. 2. You'll see that there is from the New Jersey Division of Revenue and Enterprise Services. It's a certificate of amendment.
page 2 of,
It is
Okay.
tab 2. And it states that the previous name was Casa Verde Dispensary LLC, and the amended name is Bazooka Dispensary AC. And so that's why Mr. Magazoo has all of that information in there as well, so that when someone's looking at this, they understand the process and how we got from Casa Verde. We took all the necessary steps, we followed the procedures correctly, and the change is in name only.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I
Okay.
mean, I understand. But when you first look at that,
I know, it can be confusing.
yeah, it is, not
Mhm.
can be. It
It is.
is. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
Are there any other questions with regard to the content of the agreement? And as Mr. Magazoo said, there's a safety and security plan that gets reviewed and approved by the chief of police or his designee. And so that all has to happen before operations can begin. They have to follow the odor mitigation requirements that are not only in the redevelopment agreement, but also in the township ordinances with regard to odor. If there are any complaints, they have to be addressed within 48 to 72 hours. But I don't believe, we haven't had any odor complaints at Royal Highness.
We haven't had any other.
I do feel that this, I get it. I get it. I see it on page 2, the change, but I think the paperwork should reflect that. You know what I'm saying? In the binder that was given to us tonight.
Understood.
That's all I'm saying. It should reflect.
Yeah, I understand. I'm sorry that it looked that way. The way that I had written it was, it started with Casa Verde. Bazooka had the name change. I indicated the name change. And what I did, though, was I called it Casa Verde / Bazooka throughout so that it was clear that it was the same entity. I apologize for the confusion. That was the reason why I did it that way, so it would be clear that it was the same entity and not a second entity or a distinguished entity.
You have to take action with this.
There is a resolution
Resolution.
for your consideration this evening to approve the redevelopment agreement and acknowledge the concept plan is in conformance with the redevelopment plan, redevelopment agreement, and that you are okay with the applicant submitting to the planning board.
It's just one question. This is the resolution saying that this is the name change.
This is the resolution that acknowledges the name change in the redevelopment agreement and approves the redevelopment agreement with Bazooka.
Okay.
And then Lou believes that we have to have a separate resolution.
For clarity with the CRC. But it doesn't have to be tonight. We can come
Right.
back and go through process because we've got plenty of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you have a motion moving.
Yeah, here's a motion. Second.
Did you motion, Eric?
Yes.
Second. Oh, you second? Okay.
Motion, a second. You have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Sheik?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. One other point. I've done 24 of these. You've got the toughest counsel that I've ever dealt with on the other side. Respectfully, I say that. So she's earned every dime that she's.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Emily. What is this? Moving on, 2026 municipal budget presentation. Shut the lights off.
Yeah, we can't see.
Read.
That's too dark.
You need some light?
Yeah, let there be light. We need a little more light. I can't see what I got on.
He's on it.
That's fine.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
good.
Perfect. Well,
That's good.
One comment about the cannabis and the redevelopment of the former Casa Verde while we're on the budget topic. This is our third and final retail that we have approved in the township. And all three will, if they get through, this will be our third true redevelopment where we redevelop the place site. Did something with it. We did, use it for cannabis, but it's noteworthy that they were redeveloped. All right, 2026 budget introduction. '26 budget sees familiar challenges. We're going to talk about challenges of developing a budget.
can you speak into the mic?
No.
Like, not really.
We're going to talk about challenges
There we
of
go.
developing a budget during strained times, how we got here, what's in the budget, and what we're doing to try to make it work, and some of the solutions. Like last year, we're seeing a steady increase to the cost of goods and services. This includes employee expenses and their impact to this budget. Like yours, the township expenses never seem to go down, so we need to constantly shop for the best prices on goods and effectively manage what we have. Some of the things we're going to talk about, recruiting and competing with other towns in the private sector to secure qualified employees. Employee health insurance rates, they're up this year. We'll talk about that more. Pension payments are up this year. The cost of vehicles and equipment maintenance is up. And the fluctuation and increases in utility costs, everyone's seen the cost of gasoline, electric, natural gas, all on the rise this year. And our solid waste services went up this year, as well as the landfill fees. The other challenge that especially Hamilton Township has seen in the last, since COVID, the loss of our brick and mortar retail in the design commercial zone, and tax appeals. Tax appeals hit us pretty hard last year. The other thing that we lost last year was our dial-up tax from Verizon. Our dial-up dropped below 51% in the township, so we lost $9.5 million from them. And in addition to that, we lost $21,500,000 in ratables through tax appeals. It's a $31 million ratable loss. This is going to impact this budget 1.6 cents. Plan designs for the state health benefits increased depending on the plan that the individual employee was on or their families. They increased 36 to 55% in 2026. This impact to the township is about $125,000. We've heard about double-digit increases coming down the road for next year. We're looking at that, looking around, seeing what other options are out there for the township. Are we going to stay in state health care? If we have the option to jump out, we're going to look at it. I'm not saying we're going to, but we're going to look at all of our options to try to save money. But whatever we do has to be in kind, so we have to provide in-kind health care no matter what. I talked about this. Utilities increase in 2026. We're preparing for 2027. Gasoline and diesel's up. Electric, street lighting, all these expenses are up. Cost of retaining employees and competing with neighboring towns in the private sector. It's harder than ever to maintain our existing workforce and fill vacancies. Right now we have vacancies here at Town Hall. We have vacancies at Public Works. We've had vacancies at Public Works for 3 years that we've been unable to fill. We've been understaffed in Public Works since COVID. We're dealing with contractual obligations, training, certifications, equipment. We have to provide the employees certain equipment to do their jobs, health care, and pensions. We have a lot of third-party contractual obligations. We have our fleet maintenance that's set to be rebid in summer. We're projecting out a 20% increase on that. The last time we bid it was during COVID or right before it. So the cost of parts and labor have gone up significantly since that bid. It's a $646,000 annual contract. That 20% puts us at about $130,000 increase for 2026. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and tree removal are up this year. Snow plowing, 2025. This winter we got hit pretty hard. It exhausted a lot of our reserves in snow plowing. Solid waste, yard waste, recycling collections up $180,000 this year, and all of our insurances are up. Software licensing for all municipal offices has increased in 2026. Cyber security and insurance is up in 2026. Like every other year, we have to maintain all of our parks, our infrastructure, our buildings. This year we had new DEP requirements come down. We have to provide them with GIS mapping for our stormwater and drainage infrastructure in the entire township. That was a significant increase earlier in the year. Actually, last year came through, and I think it's due first quarter this year. So in order to balance our current revenues against expenditures, the 2026 budget will need to include a 3.48-cent tax increase. This year's budget will be $33,062,764, and it is balanced the same on the other side in the expenditures. This graphic shows the assessed value change. This is basically just showing you a graph from last year to this year, what that loss of ratables did to our budget, how it impacted it, and shows that shortfall over there on the bottom right. Budget change. This is a budget change comparison from 2021. Shows that the projection, how it projected up to this year. Pretty steady, but nothing nothing real alarming, but it's steadily going up. This shows the operating surplus that we use in the budget every year. Last year we used roughly $4.15 million. This year it's the same. To use that kind of surplus, we have to we have to project out that we're going to receive that surplus back this year. So we do project that we'll be able to recover the $4.15 million. So it's important for the public to know that we didn't start at 3.5 cents. We made big cuts and changes to end there. We made sustainable structural cuts to this year's operating budget. We modified our solid waste and recycling contract with the ACUA. Received approval to join the NJ Direct High healthcare plan with the difference card option. And we moved from the Atlantic County JIF to the statewide JIF. We have 2 less employees on the roster in 2026 due to attrition. 2026, we will see a full year of savings with the cessation of our construction official retiring, consolidation of duties, and the cancellation of our third-party inspection contract. We moved the captain position from the police department and replaced it with a full-time lieutenant. We've also had several high-ranking retirements throughout the township that yielded lowered salary replacements. Most staff this year moved to the higher deductible insurance plans. This is the same coverage, but just much lower cost for both the employee and the township. We transitioned from the Atlantic County Joint Insurance Fund to the statewide insurance fund. This saved us $124,000 in 2026. Took a hard look at our solid waste and recycling programs to try to reduce operating costs. Because we proactively switched to toters, we didn't have to switch to toters, but we did. We did increase last year and 5 years prior. We bought this, first we started out with the trash cans and then we got the recycling toters. Because we did this, we're going to go fully automated by the end of this year. That move is expected to save us around $300,000 in operational costs. 2026 budget has a lot of positives and the township's moving in the right direction. Let's talk about some of those positives. Redevelopment in 2026. We have the redevelopment of the Atlantic City Race Course, and that is set to begin this year. We're in talks with the ownership of the mall about its future and potential redevelopment projects that could be possibly done there, undertaken there. There's also talks of redevelopment of various parcels in the design commercial zone. I believe Casa Verde is within that BC zone. There's quite a few properties down there that are true redevelopment areas and there were buildings there at one point, and we have a couple developers that are looking to come in and redevelop down beyond Kelowna Avenue. We're looking forward to the groundbreaking of 2 previously approved cannabis establishments. We're continuing our efforts with negotiations and helping the ownership of the Wheaton's facility through some of the regulatory hurdles that they have at the state level. And this year we will have a capped landfill and maybe a solar field out at the landfill site in the industrial park. We did add 23 commercial ratables this year. I'm not going to read through all these, but we did. We added a lot of these went from retail based to service based. So we're moving in the right direction there. We're continuing to look at new revenue sources. We're renegotiating 2 of our cell tower leases and possibly adding a 3rd in 2026. We're renegotiating our shared service agreement for dispatch in Egg Harbor City, as well as our IT services over there. Looking at all grant opportunities and looking for solutions to offset the loss of retail and, again, add more service-oriented ratables to the town. Some of our goals, 2026, we want to look to try to make Hamilton a nicer place to live and visit. We're looking to enhance efforts on property maintenance and collaborate with the courts to see some of these issues through compliance. It's been very challenging. We did have a couple meetings earlier this year with the courts, and we've expressed our issues with property maintenance, zoning, construction violations, things like that, and they've noted it, and it seems like some of those matters are going to get pushed through the court system a little easier. We're looking to revamp the role, duties, and job description of our zoning officer. Just we're going to consolidate a lot of these different functions under him, and we're going to look at that, and we're going to bring that back to committee for consideration in a future meeting. We continue to invest idle funds. Last year, we got about $890,000 in interest on some of our funds that we have sitting in bank accounts. We're looking at all shared services opportunities with neighboring towns, the schools, and the county. And we continue to reduce debt, paying down about $1.5 million in 2026. Fire, as we've done in previous years, we continue to invest in our volunteers, our 4 fire companies, the Township of Hamilton Fire Department as a whole. We're actively seeking grants to offset equipment costs, looking for ways to recruit new volunteers. And this year we've invested quite a few dollars into our dive team to get them some advanced certifications that they need to compete with neighboring counties. This is a pie chart that shows the proportion of your local tax versus the county tax and the school tax. So this year, 27% of your township tax is going to, that's 27% of your tax bill is actually from the township. How much will this budget cost the average taxpayer? So assuming a house that's assessed at $168,000, which is the average home in Hamilton Township, this homeowner will pay $17.48 municipal taxes. That's about $61.31 more than they paid last year. How is that $1,748 spent? This just breaks out the tax among all the services that we provide: utilities, public safety, public works, general government, capital improvements, our statutory requirements, and our insurances. What do public safety services include? Police protection, fire protection, rescue squad, emergency management, court services, animal control, and code enforcement. What do public works services include? They include road maintenance and construction, stormwater inspection and maintenance, flood mitigation, oversight of the Lenape Dam, park maintenance and construction, recreational facility maintenance, snow removal, roadside litter abatement, and clean communities. Public works services also include solid waste, which is your weekly trash collection, monthly bulk collection, bi-weekly recycling, landfill fees, yard waste collections, and public education. General government services include administration, the clerk's office, vital statistics, finance, our audit, risk management, legal and engineering, the planning office, the zoning office, construction, fire prevention, code enforcement, tax assessment, tax collection, and IT. What else is in the budget? Enhancing all existing services while keeping them affordable. So, trying to do more with less, investing in community development, maintaining and improving the township's infrastructure, and continuing to invest in our employees. This budget includes funding for public events, the Cove Beach and swimming, the September 11th Memorial, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, holiday tree lighting, National Night Out, the Rabies Clinic, and public works and police services for the Halloween parade and hometown celebration. This budget provides 5% of the required funding for up to a $2 million capital ordinance for roadway improvements, drainage improvements, improvements to our municipal infrastructure and complexes, recreational planning and expansion, public works equipment, and emergency service equipment. This year, we're going to look, as we began last year, but we're working through the Pinelands requirements and the application to get a second phase out at the Leapy Tract. We're looking to expand the parking, lighting, add some additional sports fields, and with that, we have to do some drainage upgrades. 2026 road improvement program. This year's budget will fund up to $1.5 million for road and drainage improvements. Funding sources in addition to capital for 2026, we have $206,000 for Babcock Road. That's through the NJDOT state aid. Same thing with Mizpah Road Phase 1. We got $185,000 at the end of last year for Mizpah Road Phase 1. We have a Safe Streets to Transit grant for Dennis Foreman Drive. This is for sidewalks for $133,000, and we just received notification from the ACIA that we got CDBG funding for a new 88 playground at the Cove in the amount of $150,000. So we're going to plug in $674,000 in grant funding in addition to the $2 million that we're going to bond this year for capital projects. Grant applications out there. We have a DCA grant out for $100,000 for the third hockey court at the Leapy Tract. We have a DOT municipal aid grant application out for $350,000 for road paving, and we have another grant application to close the landfill in the amount of $798,000, which will go to finishing off the landfill capital. We're continuing to explore new grant opportunities in 2026. Federal and state road restoration grants, safe streets to schools and transit grants, energy efficiency opportunities. We're looking for grants for converting all of our street lights to LEDs, and we're also looking at solar canopy grants for our parking lots here at Town Hall and possibly out at some of our recreation facilities. Grants for public safety, grants for recreation, for example, the DEP and Green Acres grants that we've gotten in the past, and various grants for our fire departments. Ongoing capital improvements. This is underway. We're in the process of reconstructing the historic train trestle bridge. Right now we're in preliminary engineering, and the engineer is starting to submit all the required permits in 2026, but there was over 20 permits they need to get for that, so that's going to be a process. 2026 road program phase 1. This is actually on the agenda for tonight for award. This is Babcock Road's actually a separate bid, but it's actually on here as well. Babcock Road, we're going to call that phase 1. It's going to go from 559 to the Hess School. We're going to be paving part of Gravelly Run Road where we had a stormwater pipe failure this last spring. We had a stormwater pipe failure out there. Old River Road, we had some drainage improvements out there. We're going to pave from 559 up as far as we can. I believe it's to that first sharp bend. This is actually phase 2 of Harley Avenue out to Bears Head Road, Springer Lane, Monmouth Drive and Harding Lakes, Key West Avenue out in Mizpah, and Gale Avenue in sustainability programs. We anticipate this year receiving anywhere from $85,000 to $100,000 in grant funding for 2026 for Clean Communities initiatives. This is what pays our volunteers and Public Works to go out and clean up the litter on the side of the roads. Looking into increasing our litter abatement programs that add to our 18 volunteer groups. Please volunteer if you know anyone or any nonprofits that want to get involved. Please get involved. Contact Public Works. We're looking to promote our rigid plastic, our metal collections, and our recycling programs this year even more. Also enhancing public awareness and expanding the efforts of the sustainability team. This budget, we continue to invest in all of our services, our public safety, our community events, our infrastructure, and the Cove, and our Hometown Heroes program. Timeline of the budget. Tonight, we're going to introduce, hopefully, if the committee's good with it. The public hearing will be on May 4th. If there's any amendments, we'll have to adjust the adoption date. But if there are no amendments, May 4th will be the adoption. Question?
Questions or comments?
You've done a great job because we were up 6-7 cents. And to get it down to 3.48, I didn't think you could cut any more, but you did. So you've done a good job. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, I want to commend you and Nick and everybody, all the department heads and everybody who went through and cut what they could and understood the assignment to try to keep the increase in taxes as low as possible. We do this, we've been doing this year after year. You know, we start out with 6, 7, 8 cents, and we find a way to whittle it down as much as we can. And I kind of scratch my head and figure out how we can possibly be whittling any more, but we seem to do it.
It comes down to change. People don't like change. This year we moved, we moved people's health care. We moved from an insurance fund that we've been a part of for 30 years to a statewide fund. You know, it's a lot of unknowns with those kind of moves, but we're looking to save money. Save us $125,000 this year. Made some tough decisions with our solid waste contract, but saved the town a lot of money.
Yeah, it got me quite a few phone calls, thanks.
You guys invested in those toters. They were a pretty big expense. We did get some grant money for those, but it's going to pay off by the end of this year.
Absolutely.
So right now, we are in the state health plan, correct?
We are.
But you're possibly looking around at that?
We've been looking around at that for the last couple of years. Our experience rate's high, so we're unable to leave state health care. We can leave and get a better deal for the employees and a better deal for the township. We'll explore it. Right now, we're not going to use. I don't want to use the word stuck, but we're stuck there.
Right.
Luckily, we did get approved for that difference card program. It saved a significant amount of money for the people that did move. They're talking about double-digit increases next year. Not like this year. It sounds like 10 or 20%, but this year it was 36. That was the lower side of it.
It's on, you're looking, it's on the radar, possible.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? Did I hear a motion?
So
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Yeah. Got a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Public hearing, adoption of ordinances, we have none. Introduction of ordinances. We have ordinance 2131-2026, an ordinance amending chapter 105, article 4 of the Code of the Township of Hamilton entitled Cats. Mr. Solicitor?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Committee recall conference session last meeting that strengthens our portion of the code to address issues that the township is facing with the feral cat population. This just enhances it, also designates some penalties and conditions where the cat population has to be maintained properly.
And as I discussed before, there's a lot of phone calls about various issues with feral cats, and this just gives us a little bit more teeth to try to get things moved along properly and these cats taken care of the way they should be. Sure. You making it?
Sure. Make a motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes.
All yes.
Award bids, contracts, change orders, resolution to award bid 2026-06 for the 2026 Road Improvement Program Phase 1 to Arawak Paving Company in the amount of $700,900.
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Resolution to award bid number 2026-05, reconstruction of Babcock Road Phase 1 to Arawak Paving Company, Hamilton, New Jersey, in the amount of $223,700.
Motion.
Oh, I got a question.
Second.
Let me
Motion
ask
a
a
second.
que-
You have a question?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you so much. How much how much of the grant amount did we receive?
So this is, we got a grant last year for $206,000 for this project.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Consent agenda. We have A through H.
Motion A through H.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, A through H. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Personnel. We have appoint Jesus Cardona to the position of full-time police officer.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Appoint William, I'm going to say it wrong probably, Mangiano, to the position of full-time Class 2 Special Police Officer, not to exceed 11 months.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes.
All yes.
Resolution to appoint Amanda Eyre as Youth Services and Protection Coordinator at $56,000 annually, effective June 1st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Resolution to hire Travis Bowen as a regular full-time truck driver, laborer, $20 base hourly rate, plus other compensation for possessing and maintaining a CDL Class A license at 96 cents per hour, effective April 8th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes.
All yes.
Resolution to promote Joshua Pierce as a full-time facility maintenance carpenter for the Public Works Department at $24.04 base salary rate, plus other compensation of $1.20 per hour, skilled journey person, carpentry, effective April 7th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patel?
Yes. Appointment to Senior Advisory Committee. You have a vacancy, 1-year term, effective 1/1/26 through 12/31/26.
Motion Catherine Lewis.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Got it. Thank you. Thank goodness for you. 9G, resolution to appoint Brooke Seiden as an as-needed hourly employee at a rate of $25 per hour, not to exceed 25 hours per week, effective April 7th, 2026 through June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Approvals. Minutes, regular meeting minutes of March 16th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Minutes, executive session meeting minutes of March 16th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Bills. Bill list total $3,281,574.47.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Reports. Mr. Administrator.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor.
Nothing to add this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Engineer.
Nothing to add.
Township Committee.
Come on.
Township Committee members. Committeewoman Thompson. Change it up.
That's good.
So I would like to report that I attended the Hamilton Elite basketball game. They had the coaches versus the players at the Davies School, and I had the honor of being a guest coach, and I had so much fun with the young fellas that were playing. And we didn't win, but we definitely gave them a hard way to go. Also, I had the pleasure of being here when the new fire truck arrived for Mays Landing Volunteer Fire Department, and checked out all the bells and whistles. I actually learned a little bit about the lighting and the water's out, and inspected. Also, I want to give a shout out to the full-time officers, Dylan Horsey and Michael Ball, who graduated the police academy on March 12th. And that's it.
Very good. Deputy Mayor?
Yes. This last couple of weekends, the rowing regatta on Lake Lenape has been very good. The weather has been good, and it's very enjoyable to see high school athletes at that level. That's very nice. I've been there. Zoning board meetings, the dam, Brett and I went for the inspection for the punch list and whatnot. That's looking really good. Woods Landing had a function that basically thanked us for the cooperation and their understanding that we had with them battling to finish that project. That was very nice. This weekend, there was a Easter egg hunt by the Merchants Association at Gaskell Park. That was extremely nice. Another beautiful day, and then seeing little kids run around and be active. I didn't make the delivery of the fire truck. I was out of town on the way home. I stopped and saw the fire truck that night, and that is very nice as well. And then last but least, NASA. I'm going to show my age. In second grade, I remember taking my chair, walking down the steps. The whole school was in Mrs. Mumphrey's class to watch the liftoff. And now we're going around the moon again. And that's, God bless America. And that's all I have.
Very good. Mr. Aiken.
All right. So first, I want to give a shout out to Carousel Collectibles and Creative Studio right in our downtown. They had their 1-year anniversary. It was great to see them do a ribbon cutting because I don't believe they had one when they first opened. So that was nice. People there. They had some vendors outside. That was great to be there. Speaking on the downtown again, I attended the First Friday, which is every first Friday of the month. Our downtown businesses are trying to promote themselves and get out with outside vendors and themselves. And I did attend that, and it was an awesome thing, and I hope that continues. It's nice to see those businesses kind of work together in conjunction and all help each other out, if you will, and bring people out, for them and our business, for the town. It was great. I also was here with the fire truck when it was delivered, that a monster beast. I heard it was 3 years in the making before my time on here, so it was awesome to see that. Great addition for our fire company. I attended many Easter things, the egg hunt and pancake breakfast and all that stuff. It was great to see, community, people doing things for our community. It was just an awesome thing. The other thing, that Horizons Woods Landing I attended with Mr. Cheek. Great to see that community. They're so happy with, the Township Committee, what they did for them, to change from I think it was called Fernmore?
That's the new people.
Fernmore
Is the new developer.
Okay.
The first developer went bankrupt.
Oh, okay. I
Fernmore.
thought that was Fernmore. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I got it wrong. But it was nice to see the community in there celebrate themselves and celebrate with the township, because I heard that the township did a lot for them to further that, to get them to where they have to be today. So that was another great thing. My first meeting with the League of Municipalities, I attended with Dr. Witherspoon and Ms. Thompson. It was great. Hopefully many more. A lot of conversations, and it was great to get out there and meet and greet different people and see different people. So, on the budget, great job, guys. Nick, Brett, I know we did have a meeting, and they kind of steered us in the right direction. With the budget, me as a newcomer up here, I think my experience with the BOE kind of helped me, settle in to see where things move and what you have to do. And you guys did a great job with the number that was first given and what you got, you got it whittled down to. So kudos on that.
Dr. Williams?
Yes. I was here also with the fire truck. I was looking for our picture. To all four of us to be on but I'm sure it's coming. It was very nice. That was the first time I've ever seen a truck received, and how excited the firefighters were. I believe that the Tanker 19 will be going to MISPA after some work. It is done within the next 3 weeks to a month. So I'm excited about that because they wanted that tanker back in MISPA. They have a whole different situation. They don't have fire hydrants and things of that nature. So I'm excited that will be coming up. I want to thank Pastor Robin from the First United Methodist Church here in Mays Landing, who coordinated the Easter egg hunt. We've had so many Easter egg hunts. I mean, maybe 5. I went to the one with Powell, which was in the police department, which was great. Then there was one with kids that were blind. And then there was the one we had this week. And then different communities in our community had Easter egg hunts. So hopefully one year I would like to see us do a gigantic one where we can bring it all together. But it was very nice what everybody did do. And it's just to see the kids very excited and running made me happy as well. On this Wednesday, I normally do not miss or try not to miss the police officers, I believe, are being recognized with awards. I will be out of town. I will not be here, but we want to congratulate all of those that have stepped up and done what they needed to do and will be recognized on Wednesday. I believe that's at 5 o'clock, right here in Township in the hall, right? So that's going to be on Wednesday. On Friday, the Atlantic County officials meeting will be at Martin's in Lansville. I won't be able to make that this time, but they are looking for other committee people to show up. So whenever you all can show up to those meetings, that would be great. They asked me, did I tell everybody? I said, they know. They know. All right. Also on the 17th, the Atlantic County League of Municipalities will be having their meeting also. And there will be our annual free rabies clinic will be held on April the 25th. And that's done every year. All right. Now I have a dog. I shouldn't say I have a dog. My family has a dog. So that's going to be held here. I think it's a good thing. So I'm sure more information will come out with the time.
That'll be from 9 till noon
From 9 to noon. And where would that be held at?
in the parking lot across the street. Look for the big white tent.
The parking lot across the street with a big white tent. All right. And again, I want to say thank you to Nick and to Brett for working on the budget and getting it down from 6 to 7%, from 6 and 7 cents down to where you got it, because I said, I can't see what you can cut. There's nothing else that we can cut, especially losing $31 million in ratables. But you found a way to do it. So thank you again for a job well done. That's my report.
Thank you. Yes, police award ceremony Wednesday, 5 o'clock here in Town Hall. Kind of used to the old chief doing it. Let's see how you make out. He's, Greg's kind of a little comical. See how you follow through with that. Yeah, it was. There were a lot of Easter egg hunts this year. We had some good weather over the weekend. I attended the one there at Gaskell Park. That was great. That was Methodist Church. Pastor Robin and Mays Landing Merchants Association, I think, was involved with that also, and did a really nice job. And getting that fire truck from Mays Landing, the new tanker, that was a heavy lift. That was you go back three and a half years ago, how that all started, and it's unbelievable that it takes 3 years to get a piece of equipment that pretty much every single town in this country needs fire trucks, and it takes that long to get these fire trucks. I saw something, I think it was on 60 Minutes, talking about that whole process and what's going on with that. So if anybody's an entrepreneur, you might want to go start your own fire truck company, because you do really, really well. So it's good to have that here, and it's going to take them probably, I hear, about 2 weeks to get it all set up, get it out on the road. And of course, they got to train on it, learn how it works. All the operators have to get certified. So I'm sure you'll see it driving around pretty often with those volunteer firefighters learning how to operate that piece of equipment. And once again, good job with the budget. Hopefully, there's no changes over the next 2 weeks. No, 4 weeks. But we shall see, right? But no, good job, like I said earlier, good job to all the department heads. This time of year is tough for everybody. And I hate to see taxes go up on everybody here. I mean, everybody here pays taxes. I know not everybody lives in town. I'm sure your town's taxes are probably going up too. It's pretty much everywhere. And as Brett said, it's just the cost of living with everything between fuel, electric. It's just there's insurance, everything. And I don't know when it's going to stop, but hopefully it stops soon. With that, Reagan, I'll see you later. Maddie, I miss you and I love you and I hope to see you soon. And we will go to public comment.
Prepared a statement. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Officer Tasha Cannon, I want to start off by saying thank you to my colleagues for showing up today and support. And I want to thank you all for this opportunity to speak here tonight. I want to address the proposed contract that was brought before you guys, specifically the salary increase as I move forward and other officers move forward in the STEP guide. Over the years, I've done more than my core part of my duties, going above and beyond with serving within the community, showing up on my personal time, volunteering my time. I work to build very strong relationships, bridge the gaps within the community, and be a voice for those that aren't being heard, and also representing those that look like myself. I'm also a resource officer. I'm in the schools, dealing with the children every day, building bonds, and potentially looking for future candidates to join us up here today. I am also a member of the POW board. These roles are time that I take, like I said, to give to everyone, whether I'm being a friend or whether I'm being here for children or my own members of the community. But I want to address some things tonight. And one would be definitely the pay. I'm one of the officers that the decisions tonight are negatively affecting greatly. And like you said, the cost of living is going up. Did a good job with the budget. I agree. Your decision definitely takes a toll on a lot of us. And not just myself, but Officer Boyd, who's our K-9 officer, and he will end up owing the department or the township money with this contract. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I would normally never stand up here, and I know a lot of you have seen me out in the community doing my job, which I do for fun because I love to do it, not because my uniform. I would like for you guys to please consider the contract that was brought before you so you can see, because I do believe that maybe you guys didn't have enough time or adequate time to review it or understand it or see the numbers. I'm speaking not just for myself, I'm speaking for my whole department. And I'm also very impactful in doing that in the community, hence my name, Miss Impact. So please, can you consider that? Look over it, think about it, before you give us a strong no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Committee. My name is Ray Theriot, former Township resident and a current business agent for PBA Local 77. I don't know if you were explaining the process of how we got here tonight. We were in mediation. A deal came together. It was late. We were here till like 8 o'clock at night that day negotiating. And it was kind of all thrown together very quickly. And both sides looked at it and said, okay, that's something we can live with. It happened so quickly, there was a couple officers that were overlooked in how the deal came together and the way the steps would move, and they would have been adversely affected. Some of them, one of them you just heard from, would have actually lost money with that deal. Now, obviously, I don't think it was anybody's intention for somebody to lose money in a new contract. So all we're asking for is for you to please take a look at what our attorney sent to you, evaluate it. It's probably the cheapest option available for everybody at this point right now. And we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Teresa DeRose from Holly Street in Laureldale. I have two positions pertaining to Solicitor Kenneth Warren addressing the feral cat situation in the township. I'm here to say feral cats' lives matter. And their lives are difficult and the struggle is real. They should be protected from harm and abuse. So where can we find your changes that you made? And also, other than the rabies clinic, are there any additional assistance to those caring for the cats? Because people do this on their own money.
Mayor, may I respond?
Absolutely.
So the ordinance was on for introduction tonight, so it's going to be posted and published, so you'll be able to see the entirety of it. I know that we worked at length regarding this feral cat ordinance. It's regarding establishing parameters for the care of those cats, including what is sufficient food and water and care. So I believe that it's going to address your concerns. You'll be happy with it, or at least we hope we will. But it will be posted after this meeting.
Because I saw that you had, there was already established guidelines, but then you made changes, so.
Correct. Yeah, we strengthened that as well. So it should be posted, should you be able to review it, and it's going to be on for a public hearing and adoption on April 20th, 2026 for a public hearing.
Yeah, because people do this out of their own time, their own money, and, we don't want to, discourage people from doing it, to make it too expensive, to make it too unable to be doing it. And I have another position that I agree with and support Tracy Thompson, her views regarding the proposal for a subcommittee, and oppose the idea for a subcommittee. Due to all public suggestions are not considered. And I know that for a fact for 2024. I had a proposal and it was not considered. And also, since they're going to be doing the subcommittee, will they be paid additionally or compensated additionally?
No.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Motion to close?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
What makes a good volunteer? Someone who's very dedicated, loyal, somebody who understands that there's a commitment involved, and they have to have the support of their family as well to be able to come and go at the drop of a dime when somebody else is in need. My name is Glenn Warner.
My name's Larry Birch.
I'm Frank Roby.
Hi, my name's Louis DeMartine.
My name is Christy Litzy.
And I'm recently appointed as the new fire administrator for the Township of Hamilton.
I've been with the department for almost 30 years and a senior captain.
I'm one of the safety officers for the department as well as a firefighter.
I'm the chief of the Mays Landing Volunteer Fire Company.
I am firefighter and secretary of the Weymouth Volunteer Fire Company.
I started doing this when I lived up in Maine, where there's very few people. The town I lived in was 230 people, and so they were looking for help, and so I volunteered.
My biggest inspiration to volunteer is to help other people, help the community.
Back in October of '73, I don't know, I seen the fire trucks going around town and everything like that, and I was really interested, and then I joined, and it's been 51 years later, I'm still here.
It's something I grew up with. My father is 40-something years with our company. I grew up with the Ladies Auxiliary as well, and then 5 years ago I decided to go through the Fire Academy as well. It's just something that's ingrained in me.
It's important for people to get involved with their community because this is where we live. This is everybody. It's your neighbors helping neighbors. And if nobody's there, right now volunteerism across the country is down. And it's getting to the point where if somebody called and needed the help, that nobody's coming out.
The volunteer is running very low, so we are always looking for volunteers to help out.
I think everyone needs to do that. There's not enough people right now volunteering for whether it's fire department or other things, and people need to get re-engaged into helping out the community.
Well, anybody can be a volunteer if they're willing to put the time in. You have to be committed, and it's a big commitment you're going to take, but it's very interesting and we have a lot of fun.
Your local fire company, find out what their meeting nights is. Ours are Monday. Each company in our township has a different night, and you just show up and you talk to them and you meet with the chief and all the guys and kind of get a feel for it and see if it's something you'd be interested in.
So you could go to the town hall over here and talk to the fire administrator, and he'll set you up with an application.
If you're want to become a member, we also do junior members. Yeah, come down here Tuesday night and get an application.
It's really important to step up for your community, and even if you don't do it on the fire side, there's EMS, there's all different services, you know, public services that you can do, and we need the next generation to come up and you know, start taking the helm.
We've had many impacts, motor vehicle accidents where we help people get out of cars, fires where we help save property, animals that we pulled out of houses.
You don't get paid for it, but the payment that you get inside is worth it completely. And it's one of those things, you know, if I didn't volunteer, who would be here to take my place, and what if it was your house? You know, growing up, it's always, well, what if it was our house? And it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever been a part of.
If you were interested in becoming a volunteer, you can go to any one of the 4 firehouses. One's in Mays Landing. The second one, Weymouth Firehouse, is up off of the Black Horse Pike. Laureldale Fire Company is off of Route 50, right by the expressway entrance. And then Cologne is down on the other side of the expressway behind the mall. Or you can come to my office. I'm in the township, the main building there on 13th Street, in the fire administrator's office. I'd say dedicated. They're dedicated.